really struggle, especially women in business.
Okay.
Struggle, and it wasn't a money thing. It was a inner thing.
My audience, our audience today that's listening, to be in a space of abundance and to live in a space of abundance.
You're listening to Empower You with Jeanita Blue.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Jeanita Blue, and welcome to the Empower You podcast. I am so excited because I have Miss Leanna here with us today.
Hey girl.
Welcome. So this is our third episode on the Empower You podcast.
Three, that's a good number.
Yes. We want to talk about empowerment on this podcast overall. Finding the space where we're combining spirituality and our personal talents and gifts to enhance our personal and professional development.
I love it.
So Leanna is the wealth elevator who guides women to unveil their financial journeys through audacious confidence and tantalizing sensuality. Hey, girl. All right now. As a CFO and money intimacy coach, Leanna is known as the secret behind her clients' multi-6 and 7-figure empires. She is the mastermind behind Financial Foreplay, Hello Wealth Boutique, CFO firm, and crafts the alchemy of finance and liberation, uniting dollars and desires. Woo!
That's me, girl.
Welcome.
Thank you.
That is amazing. I love how you combine those two aspects, and that's really unique. So what made you ultimately want to combine pleasure and financial strategy? How did that come about for you?
Ooh, it came about in a couple of different ways. For one, I got tired of feeling like I had to be like two different people. Like I couldn't be me and like the smart finance girl.
Okay.
And what I found was that there was never a place where they merged. And so I felt like I was just stuck in this box. And I was like, yeah, that's not for me. So my own experiences really led me into this place where I was just like, once I learned it and I found the connections between money and like spirituality and all the things, I was like, I gotta share this with other people. Like, I have to.
Beautiful. Okay, so what was that jump? You were like, you were living in these two worlds. What did that look like for you?
So it would look like, so I would, like me, I'm a very like fun person. And if we go back during the pandemic, I think it's really, really showed up for me. So actually, let's go back a little bit more.
Okay.
So
take us there, girl.
Let's go back. Let's tell the story. So 2 weeks before graduation.
Okay.
Of college.
Okay.
Doing all this work, having fun. And it's time to graduate. Well, I found out I was pregnant 2 weeks before graduation. So when I walked the stage, I was pregnant with my daughter.
Oh.
But not many people knew. Right? So that was a whole thing. And so it really kind of changed the trajectory of my life. And so I went from thinking about all the things I wanted, which was to like go to law school and move to Washington, D.C. or Chicago, to like shifting to be a mother. So I think that was the first time in my life where the split happened, where I had to be this or that. I had to be a mom over being Leanna. So I ended up starting a business, working in like, I worked in big four accounting firms. Like I did all of the things you would do after you graduate from college with a finance degree.
Okay.
And it wasn't until I leaped into business, did well there, but then had a lot of challenges where I stopped doing that business and moved into the one that I do now. And it wasn't until right before the pandemic, I started having these nudges that there was more, like that I hadn't connected to. And that's where spirituality entered my life. And it's never been the same since then. And so since then, I've like experimented with different like healing modalities, all kinds of different stuff. But it wasn't until we were in the pandemic and I was seeing people really struggle, especially women in business.
Okay.
Struggle And it wasn't a money thing. It was a inner thing. So I spent a lot of time like doing shadow work and really like peeling back the layers of myself.
All right.
And when I came out of that, I was just like, oh wow, there's so much here around pleasure and sensuality and intimacy that translates directly to money. And it wasn't until I made that connection that things started to shift for me. And before it was like I was just hitting up against the same wall. And I would see women have the same things. I'm like, you don't have a money problem. You got an intimacy problem. Like, and that's where I really started to go down this rabbit hole, making the connections. And that's how I birthed my money intimacy framework around just real life trials and tribulations, heartache, up and down, all kinds of stuff. Girl, I've been through the ringer.
Okay.
Okay. But that's kind of where it came from. It's just my life and wanting to show women that there's a more to it than just know how to write a check and make money.
Wow. So that money part is only one element of it. You were saying that you were like, you kept hitting up against this wall. What was this wall that you felt like you kept like coming up against? What was that?
So I like to call them climaxes because everything, you know, I try to keep it sensual and
Come
sexy
on
over
now.
here, okay?
Yes.
You know? So I like to call them climaxes, and I describe it as any time you go from one place to another and you kind of just hit, a lot of times they call it a ceiling or a glass ceiling, but that's just kind of too boring for me. So they're climaxes
okay.
over here.
Yes. Level climax.
Right? So I would say like I was making the same amount of money every single month, but I was doing more work. I was working harder, but I wasn't making more money.
Okay.
And I'm like, something is wrong here. Something's not correlating. And that's when I started to realize that I had to go through the shift in my identity and become more intimate with myself and my relationship with money in order to get past those things, and realizing what got me there wouldn't get me where I am now, and what got me here is not going to get me where I'm trying to go. Yeah. And that all centers around intimacy, desires, and pleasure.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right, then. Let me find out. We staying stuck in certain places because of intimacy, desire, and pleasure.
Yeah.
Please say more.
Okay.
Please say more.
The way that I describe this money intimacy is what I call it, is a framework where you really look at your mind and your money. Okay. And typically those are the two things that don't cross paths. It's like if you go to the doctor and the doctor is only like your finger is bleeding and they give you a Band-Aid, but they didn't ask like, well, did you get cut with something? Do we need to test it? Like, we're not actually looking at the root causes of certain things. We're just looking at the byproducts.
Oh, okay.
And when it comes to money is a byproduct. It's just like the end result of something. And so the way that I describe it is we put our mind here and we put our money here. And if we look at it as a funnel, there's all these things that have to go into that funnel for us to get to this place of like liberation around money. And so for women especially, I always have them start with just vulnerability. So like intimacy is another word for connection or closeness, right? And so I start to ask people questions about their money. Like, what's your first memory of money? Where did you get all of these ideas about it? Because you're trying to master something that you don't even know where you learned about it. Wow. And so then you're trying to do money like somebody else or like somebody from a different generation. It's just like, wait a minute. Like if you grew up and somebody told you, don't ask for anything when we go in this store, and then you want to sell a service, you don't even want to ask. Because you've been trained to not ask for something unless you can get it yourself. So there's a lot of different pieces to it.
Come on.
Right? There's a lot to it.
Girl. Wow. Sheesh. So everybody's situation and upbringing affects everything related to their money.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like if you go to the doctor, they're going to say, what's your medical history? Has anybody else in your family had this happen? they're going to ask a million questions. And a lot of times the questions are not about you. They're your family's history. So when it comes to money, like everybody wants to be a millionaire, but if you come from a place where there's all these stories that aren't serving that goal, then we have to go back and we have to start there and unwork that.
Gotcha.
And that's the vulnerability part of where we start the process. Or that's where financial foreplay comes in. That's where we start.
Yes, financial foreplay. I love the name on the marketing aspect. The wording is just fabulous.
Thank you.
Okay, so you said that you have to allow your clients to get comfortable, and you kind of start out with that intimacy aspect. What is financial foreplay?
So financial foreplay is like, okay, so we think foreplay, right? We want to take our time. We don't want to rush foreplay, right? Everybody's always trying to get to the climax, right? Everybody's trying to get to the orgasm.
Right.
Like, let's slow this puppy down and let's take our time. So financial foreplay is all about peeling back the layers around your desires.
Okay.
So a lot of times I'll ask the person, like, well, what do you desire? What do you want? And they don't know. Especially women, right? I am specifically talking about women, especially black women.
Okay.
What do you want? I don't know. I haven't thought about it. What do you desire? I don't know. I haven't thought about it. So for a lot of us women, especially black women, women of color, BIPOC women, we work so hard that we forget about what we want because we're in this like hustle and bustle of getting degrees and raising babies and being leaders, which are all amazing things, don't get me wrong, but somewhere in there we lost what we wanted. We lost, like I'll ask the person, what brings you pleasure? I don't know, I ain't thought about it. And then eventually they come up with something, but it takes time. And so in financial foreplay, we really bring those things to the forefront so that we can spend time. Let's take our time bringing more pleasure into our lives and understanding our desires. So then when we go to talk about actual money and putting a budget together or planning for the future or building your business, we don't go anywhere before we know what pleasure and desire looks like for you.
Okay.
Because what will happen is we get into business and we're lit up about something and we're like off to the races, right? You can't tell us nothing. And then what will happen is I see it time and time again, especially with people who are hitting their first 6 figures. They'll get to 6 figures and then they're just burnt out because they're like, I don't even care about this anymore. I don't love it anymore. I don't have the passion for it because all of that got outweighed by money because you were hustling.
Yeah.
So we don't do anything if it's not in line with pleasure. Like,
girl.
Nah.
Girl.
Nah.
Yes. Okay. Couple of things. Because you just dropped a whole lot of gems. First, you talked about if it's not in alignment with your pleasure, you shouldn't be doing it. And then also your first 6 figures. So you're helping people make 6 figures.
6. Multi-6, 7.
Multi-6, 7. Okay. Yes. That is so amazing. Like just coming from certain backgrounds, like that's not something that people are used to, and people are striving to do that. But Absolutely. You go back and you say, let's start with pleasure. And that's super powerful. So it's not the hustle mentality is there, but how can I enjoy it? That's awesome.
Because it's more sustainable, right? Like you won't. You may get tired. Don't get me wrong. I get tired some days, right? But when you're in alignment, you move different. You everything about you is just different. Even when you're tired and in alignment, you're like, all right, I just need to take a break. I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'm back at it. Not like, I don't want to do this no more. So it's very important. The thing I teach, I've been through. So I'm like, I made all the mistakes. Let's go around them. And I wish I had somebody to tell me these things back then. I'd be like, multi-millionaire.
Yes.
Okay. By then, if I knew what I knew now.
Right.
That's why I'm like, I got to teach people this.
That's so beautiful. I love that. I love that you are in your alignment. So tell us a little bit about what brings Leanna pleasure.
Ooh. Okay. What brings me pleasure? Well, the first thing that comes to mind is I love pole dancing.
Okay.
Right? I love it. Like, absolutely. One, body banging.
Yes.
Okay? Amazing shape. Okay.
If y'all listening, be sure to tune into the YouTube channel as well so you can see Leanna because she is hot. So, yes.
So, pole dancing is really where I remember sitting in a car one day and I was listening to this podcast, and the lady said, your desires are nudges to like your path for life. And I was like, what's something that I always desired, I always wanted to do? Now, this is at a time, a lot of the lessons I learned that I teach people happened to me at like some of my lowest moments.
Okay.
So this came to me when I'm going through a big heartache a couple of years ago, probably like 2 years ago. Big heartache. Ooh. Okay.
Okay.
Free. Okay. Bleep that out. Bleep that out. Don't put that in there.
Life's great. Still good.
Life's great now. Okay. Life's really good. But I remember sitting in the car at the lake, listening and just thinking about life and journaling. And I was like, what's something I always want to do? And I'm like, I want to pole dance. I always want to do a pole dance class. So I looked it up that day and I went.
That day?
I went like the next day. Yes. I swear. Yes. And from that day, I was just like, I love this. And what I didn't realize at that time was that I had the seeds of what I teach now around money intimacy in me already.
Okay.
I hadn't connected the dots.
Oh.
And once I started going to that class, it made sense to me. Everything about sensuality, feminine energy, getting out of my head and being in my body. Because when you're on the pole, if you're in your head and not in your body, you're going to hit the ground.
Oh.
I'm not hitting the ground. I don't want to fall. So you have to be fully aware of your body. And for someone like me who deals with numbers and people call me with like very important things to do when it comes to their business, like the decisions I help people make impact them and their kids and their employees.
Yes.
So for someone like me, I didn't really have a space where I could just relax and I could just be free. And I'm in my little short shorts. I haven't gotten to like the panties yet.
Okay.
My little short shorts and a bra.
Yeah.
And I'm just doing different things and really seeing how strong my body is.
Yes.
It really helped me. And I swear, every time I would walk out of pole class, I would have a sale. I swear, whenever my sales would slump, I would go to pole class, I would make some money. Because I was in alignment. My energy is just flowing. I said, okay, I'm here all the time.
Yes.
And just people would pay invoices that were like past due, all kinds of stuff. But I think it's really important as women to connect to our bodies, because our bodies are telling us so much every single day, you know, from yoga, that like it's speaking to you, and your breath is really important. But we're so like go in our heads, and money likes feminine energy. So when we're in our natural just like flow, it just magnetizes to us. And that's what I always teach people. They're like, what should I do? Nothing. Don't do anything. Just go watch TV or just go do nothing. So yeah, that's something I do for pleasure. And then I like to just relax. I'm starting to travel more. I love being a mom. So I'm like at all the games. I'm suited and booted. That brings me a lot of joy. Yeah. So those are that. But that's the number one thing. I love pole dancing.
Beautiful.
I can't twerk though.
You can't.
I can't. I'm gonna be honest. I cannot twerk.
You got the spins though.
I got the spin. I can flip.
Oh, you can flip.
I can flip up there.
Okay.
I can do some things. I can let my hands go and just hang with my legs. I can do some stuff.
Okay now.
But I ain't gonna be on like P Valley or nothing.
Oh my goodness. Thank you first of all, as we continue on, I just want to thank you for showing up and being vulnerable and just sharing your magic, because this conversation is not something that people talk about often. And so the fact that you're shedding light on this topic, I feel like most people want money and most people want pleasure. And so they no longer have to be separate.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so what's up.
I'm trying to tell you.
That's what's up. You've helped your clients achieve $10 million in savings and tax savings over the past 5 years.
Yeah.
How did you come about doing that? Like, what is your strategy? What that you feel comfortable discussing? Like, how did you be able to hold that much space.
Yeah.
So tell us about that journey.
So I'm a finance girly. I know numbers. I know strategy around numbers. So this is the part that everybody's like, it comes to me really easily. But when it comes to tax, there are so many strategies that people just aren't aware of. And especially during the pandemic, there were so many new tax laws and credits that came about that allow business owners or high earning individuals to save a lot of money. So it's really knowing the tax code. It's really being educated on the proper way to do tax work. And then it's really, a lot of it is also having clients who trust you. So my clients really, really trust me, and I don't take that for granted. And so we worked the tax code. And I always tell people, you are allowed to legally reduce your taxes. That's what the tax code is for. Now, it is a very large document, right? It's like thousands of pages. You can use those strategies to reduce your tax bill to the fullest extent that you can. And so it's a lot of research and a lot of just knowing how to treat every single tax client differently. So whether it's $1 million client or a mom with 3 kids who, it may be working a blue collar job, we took our time, we still take our time to make sure that we are giving them the same level of service. So sometimes people will just, I see tax returns sometimes, it makes me cringe because I'm like, oh, the person just filed a tax return. No, we're going to find whatever we need to find. We're not paying more than we need to pay.
Okay.
And if we have to pay, then we're going to pay strategically. We're going to make sure that we're doing things strategically so that you still benefit at the end of the day. And so my biggest goal is keeping your hard-earned dollars in your pocket, right? And you're allowed to avoid taxes. You're not allowed to evade taxes. You're not allowed to lie.
Okay, y'all.
Okay? You can avoid them all day. That's what the tax code is for. But you can't evade them, right? So you can't do a lot of crazy stuff that people try to do. And I always tell people, I'll sleep well at night with every single tax return I've ever
Come
filed.
on, sleep well at night.
You're not going to keep me up. I like my sleep, and I dream. So that's pleasurable to me.
Yeah.
So the number is high and it's growing. It's something I'm really proud of, and I have a team of people who help and make sure that those things happen. But that's my goal. It's we need to keep our money in our pockets, but still be legal and something you can sleep at well at night and something you can stand on. You can send a tax return and know, I'm good. So
yes, stand on it.
Stand on it.
Come on, guys. I'll be sure to link Leanna's information underneath all the podcasts if you need her for CFO services. So be on the lookout for that. You talk a lot about the assistance that you provide. How do you empower people? If somebody's coming from a place where we have different types of people listening. We have people who are into spirituality. We have people who are new to business. We have people who've been in the business for a while, like you said, those millionaires now. How do you empower these different levels of people?
So one thing about me is, if you ever work with me, I meet you where you are. I'm not that person that's on their high horse of, what, you spent $20 on Netflix? No. I'm not that girl. I'm not, and I'm never going to be. And I'm just not that person. So I always meet people where they are, right? You only know what you know. You don't know what you don't know. So it's not my job. It's not my job to tell you what to do. My clients know I advise. I'll give you the scenarios and I say, you do, what do you want to do? Whatever you do, I'm gonna rock with you, right? So I naturally empower all my clients. From the beginning, I got one client who literally, they haven't even started their business yet, and we're already working together. And I have a client who, he just had $1 million quarter, right? So that's 2 different ends of the spectrum. Right. You can make $1 million in 3 months. So, but I just meet people where they are, and I got some grannies who call me, Leanna, I got you. Yes. That's my number one line. It's I got you. And once I say it, we're good. So I meet people where they are, but I have enough experience and expertise that I can deal with everybody. And I'm also like, I have a screening process. So if I don't feel like we're not a good fit, then I will tell the person.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you where to go with somebody who is a good fit, who I would recommend.
Okay.
So I won't leave you hanging if you're not a good fit for me. But I am honest with people. I do right by people. I just meet them where they are. Like, if you like, I'm just trying to get started. All right, well, I put my we getting started hat on, because I know I can get you where you need to go. And so I always tell people the difference between the client with the $1 million quarters and someone who never even starts is that person's level of self-trust. If you don't trust yourself, you are not going to trust me. So I say, do you trust yourself? I make sure all my clients have personal power, because I don't make decisions for you. I'm going to give you some dope strategy. I'm going to tell you, like, hey, we can do this or we can do this. I got a client right now. She wants to buy a house on the water for her birthday in March. I say, okay, we can do it. But here's the two scenarios. I'm going to support you whichever one you go.
Right.
Say, I want to do this one. Okay, cool. So they're always in this position of control and power, because it's their lives. I'm just here as the guide. And I always keep it that way, because I know it's scary. You hear like, oh, CFO, accountants, all of these things, but people are people. And I've been there, you know, like I've already been there. So I know what I needed when I first started. I give that to those people.
Yeah.
Because you have to, because I have like, I always tell people, because sometimes people think like, oh, I can't work with people who are bigger than me, right? Like I need to work at people the same level as me. And so people will self-sabotage in business, especially we're talking about people who start in businesses. Like,
Right.
I got clients who are bigger than me. But that doesn't stop me from being an expert to them. There's a reason why a lot of my clients are 10 years older than me. Like that seems to be the sweet spot.
Okay.
But there's something that they see. They're like, oh, this girl knows her stuff. So I would tell anybody at any level, like, if you want to do it, go do it. You just get the right people around you to help you no matter what stage. Because what you need at the beginning is not what you need at 6 figures. It's not what you need at 50,000. It's not what you need at 600,000. So it's always going to be changing. So.
Okay. Yes, you talked about, and we're going to get back into the pleasure part too, because I do have another question about that. But you talked about getting the right people around you. Why do you feel like people struggle with money, making money, generating money?
Okay, so I think that people sometimes struggle with it just because, well, not just, but a lot of times because, like I would say in our community, there's 3 things. And actually it's funny because it's the 3 things that I talk about a lot. Money, sex, and desire are the things that are taboo for us, especially as girls. It's the thing that we figured out on our own a lot of times, or maybe we might have learned things from the wrong person, and so we had to get it right later in life, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, wait, you know? So there are things
Wait a minute.
like, hold on, wait a minute. That wasn't, we got to go back to that. So I think there's those conversations that didn't happen, the exposure that didn't happen, that maybe in other communities there is, but I don't really like to juxtapose us to other communities because sometimes that's like not fair. But I would say that when I start to work with people on the topic of money intimacy, I always start at their story. A lot of times we don't realize what's driving us in a certain direction because we haven't looked backwards. So just like I talked about the doctor and your medical history, we have to go look at your money story and your money history to say, where did you get these concepts about you don't want to put money in the bank, or I don't want to ask for anything, or money doesn't grow on trees? Where did all of this come from? Then that's where we start. Because a lot of times, like, honestly, most of the people I talk to or deal with at every level, nobody has a real money problem.
Okay.
They just don't. They might have a self-trust problem. They might have an intimacy problem. They may have other traumas that they experience, but it's very rarely money. It's normally something happened and it was never talked about, dealt with, reframed, or shifted. And so they're kind of stuck in this pattern.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Getting out those patterns So my next question is, so do you, just to kind of clarify, have you heard the term sex magic? Mm-hmm. Are you utilizing sex magic in your practice?
Oh, you keep in my business.
Okay.
No.
Look.
With my man.
Oh, okay. Yes.
I'm gonna get in trouble on here. They don't be telling me my business. So I am familiar with sex magic. Mm-hmm. So there are pieces of it though that I don't use it in my practice, but there are pieces of it that I pull to use to help people.
Okay.
Like I literally just told somebody, because we were talking about manifestation, and I'm like, okay, you want to manifest some more money? Well, you know, when you go to have an orgasm, change what you're thinking about. Let's think about, you want $1,000, or you want to feel like you're grateful or whatever. Say that instead of all the other things we say in the moments, because we be saying a lot of stuff, a lot of things that don't help us get nowhere, but it makes sense in that moment.
Right.
So there are people who sometimes I tell them that, like, if they're ready to hear that, everybody's not ready for the spirituality conversation, especially where it can go.
Okay.
So the people who are open to those things, because if I say sex measures to some people, they're gonna be like, "Ooh, clutch their pearls and fall out." I say to somebody else, they like, "Tell me more."
Right.
Right. So yes, I think about those things. I'm aware of those things, and for the people who are ready for that, I'm like, all right, the next time you're either, whether it's self pleasure or you're with your partner, somebody you trust, you have the most powerful energy in the whole universe at that moment. Like, let's work together. You pick something to manifest, I'm gonna pick something to manifest, or we could pick the same thing. We're gonna think about that instead of saying all the other things that I can think of saying right now.
Right. Yeah.
And it magnetizes a lot faster.
Yes.
So yeah.
Beautiful. Yes, it's definitely like the energy you put around it. And for the guys that are listening on the podcast, in the videos, you guys probably saw one thing when you were discussing one thing, you put your hands on your sacral or your area as you were speaking, and then you pulled your hands out. And I thought that was so powerful, because it just goes to show that you are creating. It is authentic. It is real. It's like I'm birthing what I'm saying.
I didn't realize that, but yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was so powerful. And I want, it's important for people to know that we can create the lives that we really want to create here.
Absolutely.
This is our experience. So what are you making? What are you going to create here? And I really want my audience, our audience today that's listening, to be in a space of abundance and to live in a space of abundance, and know that there are people here that we can live there in general. Let's start there, that's a mindset, and know that when we are seeking, when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Absolutely.
And so if anybody here is listening today and feels in alignment with Leanna and what she's bringing, her financial foreplay and her other amazing wealth opportunities, I definitely advise for you guys to check her out.
Oh, absolutely. I would be happy to have you all.
Yes.
It's in my magical world of money, power, and pleasure.
Come on. I'm loving this. All about the sensuality, because we deserve to feel good. It's our birthright to feel good.
Absolutely.
What is your advice for people to build a legacy for themselves when it comes to finance?
So my advice would be to think about what you want, your pleasures, your desires. Start there, and then make everything you do after that in alignment with those things. So whether it's I want to go to school, whether it's I want to raise a family, whether it's I want to move to another country, or I just want to travel and be paid for it. There's no wrong answer. Whatever you do, root it in pleasure and being true to yourself. After that, I would say, as you grow and you start to bring in more money, be faithful over the few. Right? Take care of those funds. And I don't really like using the word budget, but allocate those funds in a way that supports what you want to do, that allows you to have as much ease as possible. Have amazing boundaries. no matter where you are in life, you're going to have boundaries. Be okay telling people no. Right?
Oh, you heard it here, people.
If you just do those things, you're good. Because the money is going to come. That's why I don't tell people, don't focus on the money. Focus on who you're being today and gratitude.
Oh, gratitude.
Be grateful, because if you're not grateful for what you have today, you won't be grateful for what you want tomorrow. It's a way of being that people like throw the word out there all the time, but it's so freaking important. So I would say do those things. Like you said, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Everything else you need to do will happen in time. Everybody's like, I need a will, a trust. Now you do need a will, so I won't say that. Everybody's like, I want a trust and these advanced strategies and this and that, but won't save $10. Like, we gotta start where we are and build, and not try to go straight to Z, and be grateful in every step of that journey. And that's okay. Now, you do need life insurance, you do need a will, you do need the power of attorney, like, you do need those things, right? But on a day-to-day and in your overall like desire for more, just be grateful. But not grateful like, oh, I'm grateful, you grateful, you don't need no more, right? Have expectations and be grateful, right?
Yes.
I'm expecting more, but I'm grateful for where I am.
I love expectancy.
Right?
I love expectancy. I'm looking forward to this wealth coming my way.
Period.
Thank you,
She's
Leanna.
sold out. I'm claiming it for her.
Yes, sold out.
Whatever
Let's
she's
go.
selling, buy it.
Sold out, y'all. Yes.
Got a wait list.
All right, Leanna. So what are we listening to right now? What songs are we listening to?
Ooh.
What song got us in a chokehold right now?
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, what's got me in a chokehold? You know what? I'm liking that "Fuck You Mean" by Gunna.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
It might be a little controversial right now, but I don't know how they put that together.
Yeah.
But I'm liking that, and I'm liking it's so crazy because I'm gonna walk out of here and be like, dang, that was the song.
Oh, you can't find it right now?
Dang,
That's okay.
It's a girl too.
What about a money song? You got a money song? That's like, all right, like, let's get to the money. Let's get to the money. Is it like,
oh, Way Too Sexy with Drake and Future?
Okay.
Too sexy. Like, I'd be like, I'm too sexy for this. Like, what you mean? Like, come on, we got to.
Yes.
I also like DJ Khaled's what's it? I Can Have It All.
Okay.
That's a beautiful song.
I gotta go listen to that one.
So I Can Have It All. It's on the not the one that's coming out, but the album right before that is him, Meek Mill. I can't think of the girl that's on there, but it's just a beautiful song. She's talking about like being at the fountain blue, like staring at the fountain blue, like thinking about all the things, how far she's come, and then Meek Mill gets on it, he murders the track. So I really like music, but a lot of times I don't be remembering the name.
Okay, you just know the song.
Because I like that Quavo song, that Jealousy song with Quavo and Cardi B. That's pretty hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right, y'all got some few songs to add to your library. Thank you, Leanna. All right, now on to books or podcasts. What books or podcasts would you recommend to our audience today?
Ooh, okay, wait. Bossy Bruja Prayers every single morning.
Yes.
And Good Mornings with Curly Nikki.
Okay.
Is good.
They're both good.
Those two.
Okay.
Right? Spiritual women.
Yes.
Who I can listen to on repeat, and their podcasts aren't very long. So I can hear it over and over.
Yeah.
When I say they're good, like they gonna make you they all up in your business. Those are my favorite two. I listen to every day. As far as books, Atomic Habits, of course, because that's just an amazing book on getting consistent at something and improving. Like really being faithful over one thing.
Okay.
The Secret, if we're talking about spirituality.
Yes.
If you up for the journey, Sacred Woman, right? Because I'm
in Gateway 6.
Okay, that's a game changer. And then I would say those are the ones that come to my head. So right now, that must be, maybe that's what the audience needs, because that's what's coming to me.
That's what the audience receives today. Beautiful. Well, I just want to say thank you so much, Miss Leanna. Yes, you are amazing. I appreciate you as always for sharing your gifts, your magic, your wisdom, your insight on money, pleasure, sex, desire, all that stuff. Yes, we need to hear more of it. So I hope to see more of you.
Thank you.
Please tell all the people where they can find you.
So you can find me at It's Leanna Miller. It's the same on all social platforms.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. You just listening to Empower You with Jeanita Blue, and we cannot wait to see you, hear you, and speak with you in the next episode. Peace.